Better with Beans tonight on Great Taste of Manitoba. We're here with Elizabeth Harms from Manitoba Pulse and Soybean Growers Association. And so we begin with our white bean tomato stew. Now, I don't know that necessarily everyone comes to the show with recipes that they themselves have created, but this is something that you've basically done, you know, from scratch.
I like to take inspiration from a lot of different things, but this was definitely something that I kind of came up with, like, as I was thinking about recipes, and I think it was the absolute favorite thing that I prepped this year. And one of the best parts of prepping is that you get to share leftovers with your in-laws and with your family, and you also get their opinions and feedback, which I think is really important to that recipe development process.
To the process. And it sounds like you blew everybody away with this
Yeah,
one.
this one was really popular with my parents, with my in-laws, with my husband, which is always a plus.
That's good.
So yeah, we started with some onions, some garlic, and some ginger in here, and it's sauteing down. You want to get that really nice and soft, and you can kind of smell it kind of coming up, that ginger especially. I really like the ginger. It gives it a really nice warming feeling to it. And to any dish, yeah.
And we're there, like we're just about there, aren't we?
Yeah, and it's going to take about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So you want to get it really nice and soft. So we're going to start with some spices and some tomato paste, but first I'm going to get you to cut some veggies for me. So I've got some carrots and I've got some potatoes, and we're going to add those in a little bit, but first they need to be in slightly smaller pieces.
I can do that.
So the spices that I'm adding are cumin, coriander, and cayenne. If you are not a hot and spicy person, that's okay. You can always reduce that cayenne a little bit.
What if you're a hot and spicy person, but you don't like spicy food?
Oh, then eat it with bread or rice or milk.
Okay, thank you.
Then we've got some thyme, and we've got some salt and pepper, as always, to taste. And that's always something you can adjust at the very end as well to make sure that it's nice and flavorful. To your liking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And once you've got those spices in there, we're gonna add some tomato paste. There we go. And you're gonna wanna stir that around until those spices kind of come to life. I like to add the spices before the liquids because the spices really do become more flavorful and more fragrant when you add them to oil and to onions like this. So you can smell that definitely when you're cooking it. It's only going to take about 30 seconds to a minute when you're doing this, and you're really going to smell, especially the cumin and the coriander.
I'm getting it all the way over here. Yeah.
And I really like them too because they're very warming spices, and it gives a nice comforting feel to any dish that you're making.
I was going to say, like, as I was we were preparing for this segment tonight, like I was thinking, like, this is sort of the ideal recipe for if you're feeling sad or if you're feeling cold. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like hug from the inside kind of stuff.
It really, really is.
I'm not even joking. Like sometimes that's exactly what one needs. Is just a good bowl of soup or stew or something just like this.
Exactly. So once you've got those spices nice and fragrant, we're gonna go straight for the beans. I'm using white beans, as was mentioned already. You wanna make sure you're gonna drain and rinse those as well to get kind of that liquid that it comes in off, as well as any residual salt or preservatives that are left in the can.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was actually salt that they put like as part of how they preserve them.
Yeah, it's one of those preservatives, and if you're watching salt intake or prefer just to buy no salt added or reduced salt, I mean, it's very clear on the can that it states that, but if you are concerned about that, rinsing them is a great way to kind of get rid of that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Then I've got a whole can of crushed tomatoes. I'm gonna add that in. And then once you're done with those veggies, you can add them straight into the pot as well.
Okay, so everything?
Everything.
All the things?
Yeah, all the things. All the things. Okay. And I did mention kind of that special ingredient before.
Yeah. Are you gonna disclose it now?
I am going to disclose it now. So I'm adding peanut butter to this.
What? Is there anything that peanut butter has ever been added to that didn't make it better? I don't think so.
I think you might be right about that.
I don't think so.
I love it because, I mean, it's peanut butter, but also it gives it a really nice creaminess and richness to really anything you're cooking. And this dish is definitely no exception.
Okay.
And when I was developing this recipe and I gave it to my in-laws, my father-in-law said, more peanut butter.
Oh.
So,
and it's advisable, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say no to that.
Can't say no to that, no.
All right, so give that a good moosh and give that a good stir in there.
A what now? A gamoosh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna add, I've got 4 cups of stock here. I'm using chicken stock today, but that's easily swapped out with veggie stock, water, whatever liquid you prefer.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
And of course, that's probably going to cook down a fair bit, eh?
Yeah, so normally, thank you. Normally I would bring this to a simmer. I would let this boil for probably a good 25 to 30 minutes. Of course, it depends on how big you've chopped your potatoes or how roughly cut they are.
Right.
But you just want to make sure that those potatoes are fully cooked.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice
So
and soft.
then that's not even that long, 25.
No, yeah, 25, 30 minutes tops, I would say,
Yeah.
and it's good to go.
Okay.
And then once it's done, once you've got those potatoes right where you want them, you're gonna add about 2 cups of spinach.
This is like the very end.
At the very end of the recipe. I'm doing this now in, of course, interest of time. But you're gonna just add that straight in, stir it till it wilts.
And it just takes no time at all
Yeah.
for spinach. Once you're putting it into something like this, anything where the other ingredients are hot, it just I was going to say melts down. It's not
It
quite
kind of
what
does melt down.
It kind of does. a
Yeah,
little bit.
and when you're cooking it, of course, make sure you've got that lid on, and it'll cook, of course, just a little bit faster.
Okay, that's it.
There we
Nobody's
go.
sad anymore. And then if you
No,
throw in some
definitely
crusty
not.
bread or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I serve it with, even on top of some rice, especially if you are a little concerned about the heat level. Adding that rice can really mellow that really nicely.
Okay, fantastic. Quick and easy weeknight meal. And of course, beans make everything better.
Yeah.
We're going to be coming back in just a moment. Not, as you mentioned earlier, this is not just for soups and stews, but we're going to be making some cookies here in just a minute. We're going to do white bean chocolate chip cookies when we come back on Great Taste of Manitoba. We appreciate you, whether you're new to this channel or a long-time viewer. If you'd like to join us in the kitchen regularly and meet farm families across Manitoba, please subscribe. We share new videos every Sunday.